Welcome to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Leonard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. Really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show! Oh, Douglas Smith. Okay, I have my note here. You could see I'm holding up from Mickey Mickelson, a joint acquaintance of ours who is a publicist out of Canada. And Douglas Smith, I'll repeat it again. Hopefully it'll sit right. You got to say it 3, 4, 5 times. Get it? This is Douglas Smith. Although how hard is it to remember Smith, right? Is the author of The Path of Rocks and Thorns, Leadership Lessons from a Prison Cell. This will be interesting. As I was telling him in the green room, I've had on a couple people that in prison didn't have great experiences. For those benefit of the transcript and audio, I'm using air quote great, but they had a positive, transformative type situation occur while in prison, and of course now leading wonderful, great lives. Hello, Douglas.
Hello. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, happy to have you here. Happy to have you. Before we get to the book, let's do the nitty. Well, and this is going to be odd for my regular listeners. I usually say, cue the Who song. Who are you, right? Where were you born? Where were you raised? And with a lot of guests, I will tongue-in-cheek joke, say, how much time did you spend in prison? But in this case, it's an actual legitimate question. Go.
Beautiful. Well, yeah. So I was born in Princeton, New Jersey. We moved around a lot. My dad was unsettled inside, so therefore we moved. Probably lived in about 9 different places by the time I was 10 years old, and we settled on Austin, Texas. And my parents split because my mom liked Austin and was not prepared to move again. And so I always say that I moved to Austin the summer that Star Wars came out. So that's how long ago.
There's a reference for people. And before we go any further, just tell me you're not a New Jersey Devils fan.
I am not. I don't watch much hockey. So
okay. Well, at least you had a clue what I was talking about. Yeah. You could be a Dallas Stars fan, former Minnesota North Stars, moved to Dallas, became the Dallas Stars. Enough NHL history. So, indeed, you did spend some time in prison. Do you want to say for what? Or do we want to not go there? Or...
No. I mean,
I want to be sensitive to it.
I mean, it's sort of the nature of the book. So, I am a social worker. I got my degree in social work at the University of Texas at Austin, worked in public policy, working in and around the Texas legislature. And I'm also someone with a co-occurring mental illness and substance use disorder, and those conspired. I tried street drugs. The street took me to prison. And I committed, out of desperation for drugs at my lowest point, committed 4 counts of robbery and got a 15-year sentence to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And I served 6 of that on the inside and the remainder on parole. And I've been free of parole for a good 2 years now.
Oh, you answered the obvious next question. How much of that did you serve? So you some good behavior involved in that?
Oh, who knows? The Texas parole system is too opaque. It's you never meet with a parole commissioner. You meet with a clerk. They type down your information, and so 4 times in a row I got turned down for parole. And basically, it's just the nature of the crime. Really didn't matter what I was doing with my time, what classes I was taking, things of that nature. And in fact, that was actually a really good thing for me because the more I tried to like get certificates, go out all these Christian classes and things like this to try to like convince the parole commissioners, hey, look, I'm a good guy now. Right. It was, you really had to do all of that for a different reason, something more on the level of like really reckoning with yourself, internal transformation. So, I eventually learned to stop collecting certificates and just do my time and learn to be myself.
Yeah, amen. That transformational experience I was talking about. Yes. So it wasn't a great experience, but it was good that you were sent there. You are who you are today because of it. Otherwise, you might be 6 feet under of a drug overdose.
100%. Like, I often bristle when people say prison saved my life because I would love to imagine all of the things that we could have done to save your life prior to prison. But I will say that I literally would be dead had I not found the back of that police car at that very moment. So, yeah, I'm grateful and I wouldn't change it.
Amen. God working in mysterious ways, right? Hey, I don't like to talk about it often. It's not something I'm happy about, not something I'm pleased to talk about, but I feel I must confess to being a suicide attempt survivor, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was saved at that point. In a way, I was reborn yet again as a new person. And God had something for me. I like to think it's the show, although I'd appreciate a few more listeners. If you're up there listening, if indeed this is my purpose in life and part I feel calling to do, I'd appreciate some help driving some more people my way. But anyway, all kidding aside.
Well, you have me on now, so it's just going to be a sensation.
My listeners will be tenfold, right? Turn it over to God and he shall multiply it. Exactly. So indeed, I view it the same way as me. God had other plans for you. And from that came segue. The Path of Rocks and Thorns, Leadership Lessons from a Prison Cell. If I didn't have it written down, I wouldn't be able to remember. So, did you call called to write the book now then? And share these experiences?
Yeah. So honestly, it didn't start as a calling. It started as a lark. I read a leadership book by a Navy SEAL named Jocko Willink about Navy SEAL operations that went wrong, and he as a leader learning to take full responsibility for it. And it's a really good book. And I was like, people die. Right. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I could write a leadership book. I could talk about turning points in prison that helped me to enter back into the world of public policy and leadership that really served me. And I was like, I could do that. But I'll tell you, when I started to write my story, I didn't realize how difficult that would be. Like, no one goes into prison happy, well-adjusted. There were things that led me to prison, and I had to reckon with it while I was writing.
But that's cathartic to deal with. It not only helps others, you're helping yourself through that process, which is why I have my How to Write a Book and Get It Published, Hints, Tips, and Techniques. All kinds of people have stuff in them that even if they don't publish it, get my How to Write a Book and Get It Published so you can figure out how to write the book, even if you don't publish it, because it's personally cathartic.
Absolutely. In fact, in my book, so I do discuss leadership lessons, but they're really light. That is to say, like, I offer it, it's an invitation to pull it to yourself. But I always say, your life experience gives rise to leadership. I'd like to read the book that you want to write about leadership.
And with my book, they can do that. Yes.
Exactly. Go get the book today on Kindle.
Yeah, Kindle, print, available anywhere books are sold. Amazon Kindle is the only ebook, but at any rate, I'm not here to plug my book. But we don't want to give away all of The Path of Rocks and Thorns, Leadership Lessons from a Prison Cell by Douglas Smith. But do you have one you want to share, can share, to entice people to buy The Path of Rocks and Thorns, Leadership Lessons from a Prison Cell? Can you tell I've been doing this a while? I know to keep repeating things.
Thank you. Wow. I love it. I'll tell you that one of the cool things about it is I always thought of Dante's Inferno when I was writing it. Right. Because we did a book club in prison and loved it. And then people saw me reading it with someone else, and everyone would be like, hey, will you read it with me? And I ended up reading it 3 times with people. People are always looking to improve themselves. But there was just something about it.
That seems to me a perfect book for people behind bars.
Exactly. It says, midway through my life's journey, I found myself in the dark woods, the right road lost. That I read that and I was like, okay, I'm in. And the whole metaphor is that Dante couldn't find his way back up. He had to go through it.
Yeah.
And on the other end of it, he started to climb again.
Right.
So that's the metaphor of it, is that you go through it. And so each chapter is...
I'm so glad you used the word metaphor, because in the book I'm working on now, I'm calling Project Carpe Diem. That won't be the title. By the time this airs, unless if I'm hit by a bus tomorrow, that book should be on Amazon print and Kindle exclusive. I'm calling it Project Carpe Diem. I go into that and I joke. I'm far too clever for metaphors. I use meta sixes, but I'm bum.
Oh.
you like that one?
Oh my God. That is the best dad joke. I love it. Please let me use that.
It is the perfect author joke. Just, hey, don't forget where you heard it.
Okay, I'll quote you.
That's right. I want my accreditation and attribution. I have no doubt AI scrubbing the web has probably already stolen it and given it to others, because I've used it before. Yeah. And AI isn't properly accrediting me, so I need humans to actually give me my attributions. You can use it in your next book. Just make sure there's a footnote.
I shall. Thank you.
Because I like to joke. I'm going to write down here humor. When I edit the episode, I'll wind up putting a banner there of an article I wrote. Even in my Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You book, there's a comic relief chapter. So in a book that deals with terrorism, I put in comedy, because we've got to maintain a sense of humor or we'll go crazy. And at this point in the behind the scenes video, for those watching, popped up will be the online article at the Liberty Beacon that correlates with that also, right? Rabbit hole, humor in prison. Value?
Yes, absolutely. I write about, sometimes you find humor in the weirdest places. I remember, I had to reckon with race. I had to, the clash of race was really prevalent, and I broke the cardinal rule. And I talk about it in the book, and that was that a white prison gang was setting up a tattoo parlor and breaking the circuit for the only fan in a 100-degree dorm. And I broke the cardinal rule, and I said to the officers, you got to do something. And of course, they walk in looking like they were in a high school play. and go directly to that person's bunk to search that
hello,
bunk.
subtlety. Do you
So,
understand the
hey,
concept? Yeah.
and then you saw all the people getting up and like the gang members kind of like talking amongst themselves, and then they fanned out. It looked like a detective squad going to trying to collect clues. Hey, did you see this person? Do you have any evidence? It was hilarious. Of course, I got beaten half to death, but
Yeah,
I'm like,
because of
but it just is.
the moron Keystone Cop-ish
Oh
idiocy,
my
not able
gosh.
to use subtlety, not able to use their brain power to understand. You got to handle that different. I mean, I've never spent any time I have spent time in a jail overnight, but I've never spent any time in a prison. Whole other
Okay.
long story there, obviously. But
Well, we
yeah,
count that. We
I
count that. So
do you?
you're one of us. One day in jail. That's all it takes. So
Okay.
glad to have you as part of the club.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one more badge of honor. I'll have to have the tear tattooed on now. At any rate, but I mean, that's just common sense, and it has nothing to do with prison. Common sense on this entire planet is so rare these days. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm not even sure what it is anymore.
It's a lost
The world
art.
turned.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. So thank God for irony.
I, I don't use an iron. I take them to the cleaners.
Oh, okay. The jokes
Again,
keep coming.
my audience knows I cannot pass the lame puns. Yes, no, I have
Hmm.
them pressed over at Brown's Cleaners. Yeah, but
Shameless plug.
yeah. And anyway, yeah, yeah. Hey, you owe me $1.50 for the ad. Time has flown, and indeed, I call it today's Twitter attention span. You got to keep things shorter. People won't watch, people won't listen, people won't pay attention. It's like everybody wants the condensed version. So let's wrap things up. Do you have final thoughts on this?
Well, I hope that people will enjoy it. When I talked about the metaphor of going through, that was really what it is. It's I invite people to just. I think part of addiction, part of mental illness is you're trying to change how you feel, and that ultimately nearly destroyed me.
Yeah.
And in prison, I learned to actually experience my emotions, to learn about myself, to not hide, to not change how I feel. And, on the other end of that, the things that mattered before no longer matter. And I
Yeah.
get to go and live my life. I had a great career in public policy after that. I was more concerned about investing in other people and not in myself. And I got
Yeah.
to watch them go on to amazing positions. And today, my life is really developing leaders among people just like me with experiences of mental illness, substance use disorder, incarceration,
Yeah.
trauma. That's who I spend my time with, investing in them.
Not the proper application, but as a metaphor, it does work. The remove log from thine own eye, and indeed
Mm,
learn to understand oneself, learn to love oneself, to be corny about it, right? And that all
exactly.
that my sixth book working on right now will be out by hopefully by the time this airs. Uh, all about life and living, and all life has value, meaning, purpose. Whether you see it on a day to day basis or ever in your life doesn't mean it's not true. A small smile that you give another, who then gives another, even if forced, can make somebody's day better who might be contemplating suicide. Going back to,
Yes.
again, not happy to talk about being a suicide attempt survivor, but and then if their child, I call it the Pantene ad effect. You know, the shampoo. Well, we're both don't need
Yeah.
need a
Mhm.
shampoo. For those on
No.
viewing the video, you know what I mean. And I had leukemia in 2010. I didn't choose the hairdo. It came out, so I shave it. Save a ton on shampoo and conditioner. But Pantene, the shampoo, they tell two people, then they tell two people, then they tell two people. And pretty soon you've got a movement, right? A butterfly effect also, if you will, right? That small smile you give to another who then's child who wouldn't be here otherwise, hadn't you given them that smile, goes on to cure cancer. What little part did your smile play?
That's beautiful. I love it.
So you got to get
That's
my
true in the world and in prison. That one
yeah.
smile you can give.
Yes. I can imagine. Yeah, tying it back to that, bringing it back to that. A smile is, you get more with sugar than vinegar, as the saying goes. A smile is certainly helpful rather than a snarl, but even a smile might be perceived as a smirk and get you into trouble. So you got to be careful. That opens another rabbit hole, begs a question. Do you have another book in development yourself?
Not currently. I'm thinking about something. I'd love to sort of take down the whole concept of imposter syndrome. I keep hearing it among people I work with. I just want to completely obliterate it.
I hope you do write that. I'll look forward to having you back in 2026 to talk about that book. That sounds like fun. I want to read that book. Do you have a website?
I do. It's D-degree, like college degree, D-degree.com.
I remember seeing that because our email back and forth was, I don't want to give out your email, but yeah, there's a contact tab at d-degree.com. I take it people can reach out to you at, right?
Sure, they can there's a contact way to reach out to me on the website. So yeah, I'd love to hear from readers.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Let me read it again, even though it's a simple name, to make sure I get it right. Douglas Smith, no middle initial. So you already checked there isn't another Douglas Smith. Like I've got to write under Joseph M. Leonard because there is a Joseph Lenard out of South Carolina who's also a Christian author. And it's like, he's not me. I'm not him. We are two different people. Douglas Smith and The Path of Rocks and Thorns, Leadership Lessons from a Prison Cell. I'm sure if they remember Rocks and Thorns, they should be able to find it from that. There's probably other few books with that term in it, but I'm sure remember Douglas Smith, not John Doe, Douglas Smith.
That's right. It was so great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Take care. God bless.
God bless you.
Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help. Thank you for having tuned in for Constitutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless.